My name is Daniela. This is my story. I live in Brighton Bay, a small, quiet town just outside New York City. The streets are calm, the cafes are cozy, and the sound of the waves, it's always there. Like a lullaby I never asked for, but needed. I'm 29. I work as a receptionist at a little hotel by the beach. Life was simple. Some said boring, but I liked it. A few close friends, a tiny apartment, a routine that felt safe. After too many broken hearts, I told myself, no more love. It's safer alone. But life doesn't listen to promises. One day, he walked in. Michael. Different from the usual guests. Calm, polite, a little tired. Soft eyes, a gentle smile, a quiet way of speaking, like every word mattered. He asked for a room. I checked him in. He said thank you. And it felt personal. I noticed the way he looked at me. Not wrong, just kind. I smiled back, without meaning to. The next morning he came to the lobby, asked for directions. Best coffee, quiet beach, local seafood. I told him everything. And he listened. Really listened. Most people don't. That was the beginning. He stayed 2 weeks. Every evening, after work, he came to the lobby. We talked. Some days we walked the beach. Others we sat on a bench by the lighthouse. We spoke of life, books, music, dreams. He told me about the weight of his city job. I told him about my quiet world. With him, I felt comfortable. I felt seen. One night we walked by the water, stars above, breeze soft. He stopped, turned to me. Being with you feels like peace. Those words sank into my heart, like stones into still water. That night, I started falling. When his 2 weeks ended, he left. But we didn't stop. Every day, messages. Every night, calls. We laughed. We shared stories. I missed him more than I thought possible. A month later, he came back, not to the hotel. He rented a small house by the harbour, asked me to visit. We cooked dinner, listened to music, danced in the kitchen, bare feet, warm light, hearts close. It felt like we'd been together forever. I felt lucky. Then, one evening, everything changed. We were on the couch, tea in hand. He looked serious, took a breath. Daniela, I need to tell you something. My heart raced. I'm married. I have 2 children. The room froze. My body went cold. I couldn't speak. He looked at the floor. I didn't expect to meet you. My marriage. It's not love anymore. I stay for the kids, that's all. His voice was low, sad. But I couldn't breathe. I stood, walked outside. The air was sharp, the waves loud. Tears burned behind my eyes. He followed. I understand if you never want to see me again. I nodded and walked home, alone. That night, I didn't sleep. Questions screamed in my head. Why didn't he tell me? Why me? But then, I remembered his eyes, his voice, the way he made me feel safe. I wanted to be angry, but I missed him. The next day, a message. I'm sorry, but I miss you. I didn't reply. For days I was lost, couldn't focus at work, kept checking my phone. Heart versus mind, a war I couldn't win. A week later, we met by the beach. I told him I was hurt, that secrets destroy. He didn't excuse it, just said, "I care about you." And I stayed. I know it was wrong. I know what people would say. I became the other woman. But I wanted to believe him, that this was temporary, that one day he'd choose me. So we continued, in secret. He came once or twice a month, stayed in the little house. I went after work. We ate, talked, watched old movies, or just sat in silence. It felt real, but also like a dream, one that could vanish. We never went out, never held hands in public. No photos, no dates, no future. Just stolen moments in a quiet house. But in those moments, he made me feel special. He listened, remembered the little things, brought me books I'd mentioned once, helped me cook, made me laugh, made me feel loved. But deep down, I knew I wasn't his first choice. I wasn't part of his real life. I was the side thing. Easy, quiet, no complications. And still, I didn't leave. Why? Because I loved how he made me feel. Because I believed him. Or maybe I was afraid to be alone. Those nights gave me something to hold on to, even if it hurt. It was better than nothing. But slowly, something shifted inside me. I stopped smiling like before. Waited for his messages too much. Built my days around his visits. Said no to friends. Stayed home. Always waiting. My world shrank. Just him and silence. Sometimes I stood on the beach and asked, "Is this love? Or am I just lost?" I'd tell myself, "Wait. One day things will change." But the questions grew louder, and I grew tired, not just in my body, in my heart. I was always waiting for a message, a visit, a few hours of love that was never fully mine. When he left, the house felt cold, empty. I looked around, only my things, no trace of him, no clothes, no photos, no proof he'd ever been there. He lived two lives, and in one I didn't exist. I tried to believe love takes time, that he cared. Maybe he did, but he still went home, to his wife, his children, the life where I didn't belong. One night after he left, I sat by the window, watched the rain fall, and asked myself, what am I doing with my life? I loved someone who couldn't give me a full heart. I had dreams too, a home, a child, a man who chose me every single day. Instead, I had empty rooms, silent nights, and a growing truth. I deserved more. But I was scared to lose him, scared to be lonely. Some part of me still hoped, one day he'll say, "I left, I'm here just for you." But that day never came. I told my friend, Nena, the only one who knew. I poured out my exhaustion, my sadness, my confusion. She looked at me and said, "You deserve to be first, Daniela. Someone who's proud to love you, who walks with you in the daylight, not just hides you in the dark." Her words stayed. I started to see how much I'd changed. I didn't laugh like I used to, didn't go out, always checking my phone. I'd stopped reading by the sea, walking in the park, having dinner with friends. My world had become small, and I let it happen. One evening, Michael came again, smiled, brought flowers, kissed my forehead, acted like everything was fine, but I was quiet. "What's wrong?" he asked. I took a breath. "I don't know if I can keep doing this." He looked surprised. "Why now?" "Because I'm not living my own life," I said. "I'm living in your shadow. Always waiting. I want more. I need more." He sat in silence. Then, "I love you, Daniela." "You know that. Then why don't you choose me?" He looked away. "It's not that easy." "I have children, a family." "And what am I?" I whispered. "Just a secret." He didn't answer. That night, I cried. Not because he was cruel, he wasn't, but because I finally saw the truth. He would never leave. Not for me. Not for anyone. After he left, I didn't message, didn't call. I needed space. Every morning I walked to the beach before work, let the wind touch my face, watched the waves, asked myself, what do I want? What makes me happy? Slowly, I remembered her, the old me, the girl who loved long walks, coffee with friends, books by the fire. I missed her. I thought about love, real love. Not just flowers and kisses, but someone who stands with you, in the open, who says, "You're mine," without fear. I didn't have that, not with Michael. I started writing in a notebook every night, just thoughts, feelings. It helped me understand. And every page made me stronger. Michael still messaged, "I miss you. Can I see you?" I didn't answer. Not yet. I needed time. 1 week later, he showed up at my door. "I needed to see you. You've been quiet." "I've been thinking," I said. "About us?" "About everything." We talked for hours. I told him about the waiting, the being second, the losing myself. "I can't keep doing this," I said. "I love you. Maybe I always will, but I need a real life, someone who gives me all their heart, not just a part." He looked sad. "I can't leave them, Daniela. I've tried to imagine it, but I can't do that to my children." I nodded. I understood. But I also understood something else. This was the end. "I hope you find peace," I said. "I hope we both do." He stood, hugged me. "I'm sorry," he whispered. Then he left. And that was the last time I saw him. That night I cried, but it was different. The pain was real, but clean, like a deep breath after holding it too long. The next morning I walked to the sea, stood there a long time, sky clear, wind soft. For the first time in months, I felt calm. I wasn't waiting for a message, wasn't checking my phone. I was just here, with myself. And that was enough. Months passed. At first, the days were heavy. I missed his smile, his voice, the way he held me. Some mornings I wanted to call. Some nights I cried into my pillow. But slowly, things began to change. I spent time with friends again. Nena invited me for coffee every weekend. We talked, laughed, sometimes just sat in silence. I returned to what I loved, reading soft stories, walking the beach at sunset, letting the waves remind me life moves forward, always. I took a writing class at the community centre. Quiet, simple, just for me. Each week I wrote a few pages about my thoughts, my dreams. Writing healed me. One evening after class I stopped at a bookstore, hadn't been in ages. Inside, a man looked at travel books. He smiled when he saw me. I smiled back. He looked familiar. "Hi, you're in the writing class, right?" "Yes, I just joined last week. I'm David." We talked about books, the cold, the class, nothing special, but his voice made me feel at ease. The next week he sat near me. After class we walked to the cafe, talked about family, work, favourite food. He was kind. He listened, looked into my eyes when I spoke. I didn't feel nervous. I felt calm. We started meeting after class. Coffee, short walks. He never pushed, never asked about my past. He was patient. One evening we sat on a bench by the beach, sky orange, air cool. I turned to him. "Can I tell you something?" "Of course." I told him everything. The married man, the waiting, the being second. I don't want that kind of love again. He was quiet. Then, "Thank you for telling me. You're brave, and you deserve better." That night I went home with warmth in my chest. Not love, not yet, but understanding. Weeks turned to months. David and I spent more time together. Walks, movies, dreams. He never rushed me, never asked for more than I could give. I started to smile again, laugh without pain. I felt free. One day, I looked in the mirror and saw her. Not the girl who waited, not the woman who cried alone, but Daniela, strong, gentle, alive. David became part of my life. Slowly, like sunrise after a long night. He didn't try to fix me. He just stood beside me, and in his quiet way, showed me what real love looks like. One evening in the park, watching children play. "Do you ever want a family?" I asked. "Yes," he said, "one day." With the right person, I smiled. "Me too." We didn't need more words. I know now, love doesn't have to hurt, doesn't have to be hidden. Love should feel safe, like coming home. Looking back, I don't regret my past. It taught me. Love without respect, not enough. Waiting for someone who can't choose you, only pain. Peace isn't given. You find it inside. And now, I have peace. I have hope. I have love. Not from someone who hides me, but from someone who walks beside me. If someone asked, "Was it worth it?" I'd say yes, because through all the sadness I found myself. And in finding myself, I opened the door to a love I truly deserve.